So hopefully you've been able to either turn your personal thesis into a persuasive thesis for a new essay, or you've come up with a totally different topic of a persuasive nature to write your new essay about. So I want to talk a little bit now about your reasons and your evidence to support that thesis, because just like your thesis statement changed, to be more persuasive, your reasons are going to have to change as well. And you want to consider a few things when you are developing your reasons for your persuasive essay or your thesis. Firstly, you want to make sure that you have or you can come up with at least two, but even better, three or even four reasons to support that thesis. If you can't, you're not going to have enough content to develop that idea. And then you also want to make sure, likewise, that for each of your reasons, you have two or three, or again, even four examples or pieces of evidence to support each reason. And then you also want to think about your audience. Your personal essay was for you. And so you were thinking about what would feel right to you to help develop that idea. But your persuasive essay is meant to convince others. And so you want to think about who it is that you're trying to persuade to agree with you. Let's take a look at an example. So let's say we were writing an essay on how school uniforms are terrible. I don't know if you guys realize how lucky you are that you get to pick what you wear every day, but there are a lot of schools, even in York and all over the world, that students have to wear a certain outfit every single day. And teachers sometimes have to wear a uniform as well. Now, a lot of people think that that's great. And so if you were trying to persuade somebody that actually this is not a good idea, school uniforms are terrible, you need to make sure you have reasons to support that. But you also need to think of your audience. Are you trying to convince parents that school uniforms are terrible? Or are you trying to convince other kids that school uniforms are terrible? I have a few different reasons up here that could support this idea. School uniforms are terrible because they don't let you express yourself. School uniforms are terrible because they are not preparing kids for the real world. School uniforms are terrible because they are expensive, and school uniforms are terrible because they don't look good on every kid. Now, depending on who I was planning on reading my essay, I would use different reasons. I want you to pause the video here, take a minute and talk with a partner. Which reasons would you use if you were writing to an audience of parents? And which reasons would you use if your audience was made of kids? And then after you've agreed where you would sort those, unpause the video and come back to me. Pause now. Okay, so hopefully when you looked at this reason here that the uniforms don't let you express yourself, hopefully you said that would be best used in an essay for kids. The kids are the ones that want to express themselves, so that would be a better reason there. Of course, there are parents that want kids to express themselves, but really that would be a better reason for an audience of children. They are not preparing kids for the real world. Again, hopefully as a child, you want to be prepared for the real world, but most likely that is something that your parents are more worried about than you are at this point. So that would be a good reason to use if you were writing towards parents. Uniforms are terrible because they are expensive. Parents are the ones buying your uniforms most likely. They are the ones that are going to care how much they cost. And then the uniform's not looking good. Hopefully your parents want you to look your best every day, but they're also not as concerned about fashion and how they look as you probably are. So that would be a good reason for an essay towards kids. So you want to make sure that you're thinking about who your audience is when you're writing and using reasons and evidence that would best convince those people. So I want you to talk with a partner again about your persuasive essay, the one that you've been working on today or yesterday. Tell them, who is your audience? Are you writing towards other kids in fourth grade? Are you writing towards kids in our class? Kids in fourth grade in Pennsylvania? Are you writing towards all the kids in our school? Is your audience a teacher or a principal or somebody who owns a business? Who are you trying to convince of something? Who's your audience? And then tell your partner what your reasons were and ask them if they think they would be convincing to that audience. Have your partner put themselves in the shoes of that person who would read your essay. Would they find your reasons convincing? If not, how would they change them so that they would be? So take a few minutes, go back and look at the work that you've done on your persuasive essay and reconsider and tweak your reasons and evidence if you need to.